This is Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, with his photograph taken in 1861. Here, he is brought to life as he might appear today. But who was Abraham Lincoln before he took on the mantle of leadership? And how did he navigate a nation on the brink of war?
You know my name, but do you know my story? Do you know the failures, the heartbreaks, the moments that shaped the man history remembers? Let me take you back to where it all began, because to understand my legacy, you must first understand my journey.
A log cabin, a dirt floor. This was young Abraham Lincoln's world. Born in Kentucky in 1809, his family faced many hardships. They worked tirelessly to survive. Yet, even in poverty, hope burned within him.
Frontier life was demanding. Education was rare. But Lincoln had an insatiable desire to learn. Unbeknownst to him, destiny had grand plans. What's a lesser-known fact about Abraham Lincoln? His formal education was brief, less than a year in total. Yet, he was largely self-educated. Lincoln read extensively by candlelight. He borrowed books from anyone willing to lend. Shakespeare, the Bible, and law books were his favorites. He believed knowledge was empowering. Lincoln sought to understand his world. Education was his escape from poverty. This quest for knowledge defined him. It honed his critical thinking and eloquence. His commitment to learning distinguished him.
We all thought Abe was just a boy who worked hard like the rest of us. But even then he was different, always thinking, always reading. He was destined for something greater.
What's often overlooked about Abraham Lincoln's early years? Moving to Illinois was a pivotal moment for Lincoln. He left behind the familiar struggles of Kentucky. Seeking new opportunities in a burgeoning state, Lincoln took on various roles: storekeeper, postmaster, rail splitter.
Meanwhile, he diligently studied law. His work ethic and honesty left a lasting impression. Lincoln connected with people from all walks of life. His sharp wit and storytelling were memorable.
His empathy resonated with ordinary Americans. This connection with the common man became a key strength. It laid the groundwork for his political career. Through hard work and determination, Lincoln was emerging as a leader. His journey had only just begun. The vast plains of Illinois offered a new horizon compared to the wooded hills of Kentucky. Amidst the growing towns and expanding railroads, Lincoln discovered his passion for law. He traveled the circuit, moving from town to town, representing clients in various settings.
Life on the circuit was tough. Travel was slow and often uncomfortable. The cases varied widely, from minor disputes to complex land claims.
Lincoln believed in the law's power to achieve justice. The courtroom became his arena. These skills would prove invaluable in his future endeavors. News of the honest lawyer from Illinois spread rapidly. Hiring Abraham Lincoln meant securing a man of integrity. He was known for his fairness and his ability to understand different perspectives. Lincoln treated everyone with respect, regardless of their background or beliefs.
He understood the challenges faced by ordinary people. Lincoln had experienced those struggles firsthand. His empathy resonated with those he represented.
Lincoln believed in the law's power to uplift and protect. His dedication to justice earned widespread respect. His reputation reached far beyond the courtroom.
I remember him helping settle a dispute between neighbors. It wasn't about winning or losing for him. It was about doing what was right. That's the kind of man he was.
Why is Lincoln's journey to becoming a voice for the people not more widely discussed? As Lincoln's reputation grew, so did his interest in politics. He saw public service as a noble calling, a way to contribute to the community and uphold his principles. Serving in the Illinois legislature, Lincoln gained valuable experience in government. As a Whig, he supported economic development and social reform. Lincoln believed in the power of government to improve lives, while also valuing individual liberty and limited government. He was a compelling speaker, able to connect emotionally with his audience. Lincoln spoke out against slavery, calling it a moral stain on the nation. His voice began to resonate far beyond Illinois. Lincoln was emerging as a voice for the voiceless, a champion of the oppressed. His principles, integrity, and compassion would define his leadership in the years to come. Why are the Lincoln-Douglas debates not more widely discussed? The year was 1858. The central issue was slavery. This set the stage for a pivotal series of debates in American history. Abraham Lincoln, a relatively unknown lawyer from Springfield, challenged the sitting senator, Stephen Douglas, to 7 debates across Illinois.
Douglas, a Democrat, advocated for popular sovereignty, the principle that settlers should decide on slavery in new territories. Lincoln, a Republican, opposed the spread of slavery.
He viewed it as a moral wrong that should be limited to existing slave states. These debates transcended mere political contests. They were battles of ideology, morality, and visions for America's future. Lincoln, with his distinctive presence and voice, spoke with passion and clarity. Although Douglas won the Senate seat, the debates propelled Lincoln into the national spotlight.
I'll never forget the way Mr. Lincoln spoke during the debates. He had a way of making you believe that no matter how divided we were, this country could still find its way back to unity.
A house divided, America faced profound divisions during this era. Lincoln's declaration, "A house divided against itself cannot stand," resonated deeply during his debates with Douglas. These words captured the essence of the nation's internal conflict. The slavery issue had created a significant rift, threatening the Union's stability. Lincoln grasped the seriousness of the situation. He recognized that the nation couldn't endure being half slave and half free. He believed that extending slavery into Western territories would deepen the divide and endanger the Republic. Lincoln called for adherence to the Founding Fathers' principles, aiming for the gradual abolition of slavery. He argued that the Declaration of Independence's assertion that all men are created equal should apply to everyone. His words, filled with moral conviction and patriotism, sparked intense debate and energized the anti-slavery movement. Abraham Lincoln's journey to national prominence was unexpected. Despite losing the Senate race to Douglas, the debates elevated Lincoln's profile. His eloquence and intellect resonated with people nationwide. Many saw in him the qualities needed to navigate the nation's challenges. Northern newspapers began to promote Lincoln as a presidential contender. His speeches were widely reprinted and circulated. Invitations to speak at rallies and gatherings followed, where he shared his vision for a nation without slavery. Lincoln's rise was swift. Not long before, he was a little-known prairie lawyer. Now, he was seen as a potential leader for a divided nation. The election of 1860. The results of this election would alter the nation's trajectory. America stood at a crossroads, deeply divided over slavery. The Democratic Party, unable to unite behind a single candidate, split into 2 factions, weakening their position. The newly formed Republican Party, opposing the spread of slavery, chose Abraham Lincoln as their nominee. Lincoln, known for his moderate views and growing reputation, was seen as the ideal candidate to unify the party and attract a wide range of voters.
The election was hotly contested. Lincoln campaigned vigorously, traveling across the North and delivering speeches that highlighted the need to preserve the Union and uphold equality.
On November 6, 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected the 16th President of the United States. he now faced the immense challenge of leading a nation on the brink of division. Lincoln's victory sent shockwaves through the southern states. Long-standing tensions, primarily over slavery, had been simmering for years. With the election of a president opposed to the spread of slavery, these tensions reached a boiling point. The nation's unity, held together by fragile compromises, began to fray. Southern newspapers reacted strongly, portraying Lincoln as a threat to their way of life. Politicians, used to the South's significant influence, faced an uncertain future.
Secession, once a fringe idea, now seemed a real possibility. South Carolina, a staunch defender of state rights, led the charge. On December 20th, 1860, just 6 weeks after Lincoln's election, the state convention voted unanimously to secede from the Union.
The unthinkable had happened. America was fracturing from within. South Carolina's secession ignited a significant shift. Following South Carolina, 6 more states, Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, and Texas, declared their departure from the Union. By February 1861, these states had united to form the Confederate States of America, with Jefferson Davis as their president. The nation watched in shock as events unfolded. The vision of self-government, a symbol of hope worldwide, appeared to be disintegrating. Uncertainty filled the air. Would more Southern states join the Confederacy? Was war inevitable? Could the nation, founded on liberty and unity, withstand such a profound crisis? In the North, opinions on secession varied. Some believed the Southern states should be allowed to leave peacefully to avoid further conflict. Lincoln, still in Springfield and preparing for the presidency, faced unprecedented challenges. The nation was deeply divided during this era. Families and communities were split by geography and beliefs. Brothers and friends found themselves on opposing sides as the divide between North and South widened. Northern factories buzzed with activity, preparing for the conflict ahead. Inspired by patriotism and duty, young men enlisted in the Union Army to defend the nation. In the South, a similar mobilization was underway. Confederate flags adorned town squares as young men, driven by loyalty to their states, joined the cause. Despite being smaller and less equipped, the Confederate Army was resolute. Battle lines were drawn, setting the stage for a war that would challenge the nation's core. The question was no longer about saving the Union, but at what cost? How many lives would be lost? How much blood would be shed before the nation could heal? Abraham Lincoln's departure from Springfield to Washington, D.C. marked the beginning of a significant journey, bearing the hopes of a divided nation. The trip to the capital was filled with peril. Whispers of assassination plots forced Lincoln to travel in disguise. Washington, D.C. was enveloped in an unsettling calm. Armed guards patrolled the streets. The specter of war loomed over the city. Yet, Lincoln remained steadfast. He spent his last days in Springfield consulting with advisors and preparing for his role. He approached the immense responsibility with quiet resolve. On February 11, 1861, Lincoln bid farewell to Springfield and set out for Washington, D.C. As the train departed, Lincoln knew he was stepping into a future filled with uncertainty and risk. The nation held its breath as Lincoln arrived in Washington, D.C. in February 1861. The atmosphere was charged with uncertainty. Washington, D.C. felt unusually quiet. Armed guards were a constant presence, highlighting the potential for conflict. Secession was no longer a threat, but a reality. 7 southern states had already declared their departure from the Union. Rumors of Confederate sympathizers spread quickly. The Capitol, symbol of American democracy, felt exposed. Lincoln faced the immense challenge of leading a divided nation. He was acutely aware of the gravity of the moment, yet he maintained a composed demeanor. Despite the tension, inauguration preparations continued. Every detail was meticulously checked. The nation watched intently as Lincoln prepared to take the oath of office. Why don't more people discuss Lincoln's words of reconciliation? On March 4th, 1861, Abraham Lincoln addressed a nation on the edge of conflict. The incomplete dome of the Capitol stood behind him, symbolizing a union in need of repair. Lincoln's inaugural address was a blend of eloquence and moderation. He emphasized the enduring ties of the Union, invoking the shared history and common goals of the North and South. He called upon the better angels of our nature, advocating for unity over division and peace over conflict. As Abraham Lincoln took office as the 16th President of the United States, he faced unprecedented challenges. The initial cheers soon gave way to a profound silence. The road ahead was fraught with difficulties. The nation's future weighed heavily on his mind. Lincoln gathered a diverse cabinet, blending rivals and allies. He confronted the secession crisis head-on. Southern defiance was a constant challenge. Lincoln often worked late into the night. The strain of leadership was visible, yet his resolve never faltered. Lincoln remained steadfast in his mission to preserve a nation founded on liberty.
We all knew the odds were against us. The Confederates were well organized and determined. But when we heard Lincoln speak, it gave us strength. He reminded us what we were fighting for, not just land, but the idea of a united country.
Lincoln's journey from a humble log cabin to the White House is a remarkable story. His life, shaped by hardship, embodied the American dream, leading a nation through its most challenging times. Lincoln's influence is deeply rooted in American history. He preserved the Union and ended slavery. Redefining freedom, he extended rights to all citizens. His words continue to inspire. The Gettysburg Address remains a timeless tribute to unity. His second inaugural address called for reconciliation. Lincoln's impact reaches far beyond his presidency. He expanded federal powers to unify the nation. Advocating for education and opportunity, he believed in success for all. Lincoln's legacy is defined by integrity, courage, and justice. Abraham Lincoln, the rail splitter who rose to the presidency, stands as a symbol of American democracy. His journey from humble beginnings to the highest office reflects relentless ambition and unwavering principles. Resonating globally, Lincoln's path to the presidency showcases the power of determination and the belief in self-improvement. Shaped by the frontier, he embodied self-reliance and the dignity of all individuals. Lincoln's legacy extends beyond national borders. He is celebrated as a champion of freedom and a symbol of democracy's power to overcome challenges. His leadership exemplified compassion, empathy, and a commitment to justice and equality. Lincoln's story mirrors America's journey, overcoming adversity and striving for a more perfect union. He embodies the nation's founding ideals, reminding us of the enduring power of hope, resilience, and equality.
I trust you found my story illuminating, but history is filled with remarkable lives that shaped our world. Why stop here? I'd encourage you to watch the story of Cleopatra, the last queen of Egypt, or Albert Einstein, the man who unraveled the mysteries of the universe. Their journeys are as captivating as they are inspiring. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more stories that bring history to life. After all, the past holds the key to understanding our present and guiding our future.